Welcome back to SIP Study Discovering Together, the podcast where we shine a light on the crucial research coming out of the stress in pregnancy study. I'm your host, Kathryn Sie, the SIP Study Research Compliance Coordinator. Today, we are diving into a topic that touches everyone. How our changing climate affect the most vulnerable among us, pregnant women and their babies. We know our urban environments are getting hotter, but what does that mean for health? Our guest today is a medical student, Melissa Blum, whose groundbreaking research with our team has provided some important answers. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kathryn. It's an honor to be here.
Melissa, your paper has a title that's a bit of a mouthful. Association of Early Pregnancy Warm Season Exposure and Neighborhood Heat Vulnerabilities with Adverse Maternal Outcome, a retrospective cohort study. Could you start by telling our listener in plain language what exactly this study was trying to figure out?
Absolutely. We were looking at two things. First, we wanted to see if simply being in the first 3 months of pregnancy during a hot season, like a New York City summer, increases a mother's risk for certain health issues. Second, we wanted to know whether a mother's neighborhood and her community's heat vulnerability affect her risk, regardless of when she was pregnant.
So it's about the timing of the heat and the place she lives. And you were looking at data from the SIP study, which followed 819 pregnant women in New York City over several years.
That's right. We used the SIP study data because it gave us detailed information on both the mother's health outcomes and their neighborhood environments.
Let's get to the result because they are really important. What did you find regarding the timing of heat exposure? Which trimester seems to be the most critical?
Our findings highlighted the first trimester as a critical window of vulnerability. We found that mothers who had their first 3 months of pregnancy during the warm season had a significantly increased risk for certain health complications.
Can you give us some example of these complications using everyday language?
Of course, the main issues were related to blood pressure and infection. Specifically, they had increased odds of gestational hypertension and preeclampsia. Preeclampsia is a serious condition that involves high blood pressure during pregnancy. They also had increased odds of genitourinary infections, which are common infections like a urinary tract infection or UTI.
That's really striking. If a mother's first 3 months fall in June, July, or August, she faces a higher risk for these serious complications. So, what do researchers think might be causing this link?
The first trimester is when the placenta, the baby's life support system, is forming. Heat stress at this early stage may disrupt that development, which can later lead to blood pressure issues like preeclampsia. And for infections, hotter weather can simply increase factors like dehydration and bacterial growth, which might make women more susceptible to UTIs and other infections.
So that's the timing of the heat. Now let's talk about place. You look at the New York City Heat Vulnerability Index, a scale from 1 to 5. What did you discover about a mother's neighborhood?
This was the other major finding. A mother's neighborhood vulnerability mattered independently of when she was pregnant. We found that women living in neighborhoods with a higher heat vulnerability index, those with less green space, more poverty, and less access to air conditioning, also had an increased risk for preeclampsia and genitourinary infections.
So even if two mothers have the exact same heat exposure, the one in a community with structural disadvantage, a higher heat vulnerability, is a greater risk.
Exactly. It suggests that factors like neighborhood poverty rate and lack of air conditioning are major independent risk factors for maternal health, regardless of a specific heat wave. This really highlights the impact of structural issues on health equity.
This is a powerful information. What is the main message or call to action that you hope policymakers and healthcare providers take away from your work?
The key takeaway is that we need to protect our communities with targeted action. For healthcare providers, it means being extra mindful when a patient is in her first trimester during the summer and providing enhanced education about heat risks. For cities, it means investing in heat mitigation strategies, like creating more cooling centers, planting more trees for shade, and increasing access to air conditioning in vulnerable neighborhoods. These findings are a call for climate action to improve maternal health equity.
Melissa, thank you so much for sharing your vital work with us. It's a sobering but necessary look at the intersections of climate change and health.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listener for joining us for this episode of SIP Study Discovering Together. We hope that this episode has given you a deeper understanding of the complex relationship between prenatal stress and child development. As we continue to face the challenges of a warming world, let us remember the importance of community and care. If you found this information insightful, please share it with your friends and family. We also love to hear your thoughts and continue the conversation. You can contact us on our social media. Find us on Facebook and X as SIP Study. For more in-depth information about our groundbreaking research and to listen to previous episodes, visit our website at sipstudy.org. We'll leave you with this powerful thought. What we save us all.